Your turn, Yugi boy.
What is up, guys? This is AlintheaYoh coming at you with a discussion today, an archetype discussion about the Cyber Angels. Now, I know I have spoken about the Cyber Angels before when they were first announced, and I basically just want to give a bit of a talk to see how possibly meta-defining they could be or couldn't be. So if you don't know what Cyber Angels are, they are originally a GX archetype, piloted by Alexis Rhodes, and the archetype basically just revolves around ritual summoning for ritual cards. They are coming out in the Dragons of Legend Unleashed set, which is next week, so not too long, and that's obviously why I'm doing this video. I'm super excited for them to come out, but as I said, just want to give a bit of a talk on them. So if you want to go look at in depth at what they do, you can go to my previous video, I'll link it down in the description below. But basically, they all revolve around being tributed and being summoned. When they are tributed, all of them basically have effects, and when they are summoned, then they are just turned into beaters. So they have 4 rituals, a ritual spell card, and just a standard effect monster. The effect monster is basically when it's summoned, you basically get to search out the monsters or the spell card, so it's pretty decent. One of the main cards, in my opinion, is Ben 10. When Ben 10 is tributed, you get to search a fairy type monster from your deck to your hands. That is absolutely insane, simply because you can search Honest, Christie, or any ritual cards you need for another ritual summon. Then Ida 10 is basically when it is tributed, all your ritual cards on your side of the field gain 1000 attack and defense, which is obviously very strong because you turn things like Herald of Perfection into 2800 attack, you turn Saphira into 3500 and all these different things, but it's not exactly needed. Then you've got Dakini, which basically is just a big beater. It's a level 8, which is a bit annoying, and that's why I don't really like it, but it is pretty good because you make your opponent send a monster from the field to the graveyard, and also in the end phase you get to add a ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. Vishnu is basically coming out in the next set, in the Invasion Venom set, and it's basically just the biggest beater possible. You can negate stuff, you can protect stuff, but it is a level 10, making it a little bit difficult to summon. The way that the deck works is basically just you keep rinse repeating ritual summons. One of the best cards for this deck, because they are all fairies, is Herald of Perfection. Simply because if you use Herald of Perfection with its original ritual card, which is Dawn of the Herald, for example, if you have a Ben 10, a Herald of Perfection, and the ritual card in your hand, you activate Dawn of the Herald, ritual summon Herald of Perfection by tributing Ben 10. Ben 10 goes to the graveyard, so you can activate its effect, but then you can activate Dawn of the Herald effect, which says you can banish it to add one of those ritual cards that you use for the ritual summon back to your hand. Then you basically have a Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. You basically add Ben 10 to your hands, and then also get the search, which is absolutely insane, because then what you do is you set up to summon a Saphira, because you get to search a card, and if you have a Saphira in your hand, there's loads of things that you can do. The deck very quickly can establish a heavy board, being able to search things like Christia, like Honest, that makes it possible to push down your opponent and apply a lot of pressure while also having a lot of defense in the fact that Herald of Perfection is a thing, and you can easily get fairy cards back into your hands with the aid of Saphira and also Ben 10 and the ritual card itself. It's really good. If we look at the Cyber Angels as a basic standpoint, as a deck on their own, are they good enough? In my opinion, they're alright. They're not like Necros, which is basically a ridiculous deck, because Necros had a lot of power cards in the fact that they had Trishula, they had Valkyrus, they also had Briark. There was a lot of really good cards in that deck. Cyber Angels don't have that. Even though Vishnu is a really powerful card and a good one at that, there's no great way to summon it. Obviously you can only use the ritual spell that they have, and you need level 10 or higher to summon it. Now you can use things like Advanced Ritual Art, but I personally feel that the deck doesn't need Advanced Ritual Art, and it actually hinders you if you use it, because what's the point in running Cyber Angels if you don't use their actual ritual cards to tribute them off? With Advanced Ritual Art, you have to use vanillas, so therefore you just clog up your deck and don't actually get anything for it. You just get a ritual summon and that's it. Whereas if you use Ben 10, Ida 10, you actually get additional effects on top of that. That's the way that you keep the deck chugging and keep going. Personally, I think the best build right now is kind of Herald Turbo, using the Ritual Sanctuary and all these different cards. It's actually a really good deck, and I really like it, and there's quite a lot of different variations you can do on it. I'm currently concocting a few, so I imagine this video will probably have been released after my first Cyber Angel deck with the Herald of Perfection and Sephiroth, but then again, I don't know, it could be, this might be an early video. Maybe I'll make this a Wednesday video. That sounds about right. But overall, Cyber Angels on their own, will they be meta defining a meta deck? No. That's basically my opinion on that. Pretty simple. But what if we add in Herald of Perfection and Sephiroth? Can that make it a decent deck and a meta-defining deck? Well, I don't know if it will be meta-defining, but I actually believe it will be very, very good. Right now in this uncertain times of what's going to be hit in the ban list, we just don't know. In my opinion, Cyber Angels and Herald and Sephiroth will not be touched because there is absolutely no reason for it to happen. If it is, I'm going to be very angry and I'm sure you'll see a video about that, but I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure that the deck won't be touched. One of the big issues with this deck is obviously mass boss monsters. If your opponent goes first and puts a big beta that's higher than 2-8 on the board, it's going to be a little bit difficult and you have to kind of alter your plays. It is possible to get around by summoning Sephiroth with like a Ben 10, getting the Honest, attacking over, then getting either the Honest or the draws, whatever you want, or pitch a card out of your opponent's hand. It's down to you, but there are a lot of different ways that you can build the deck, and there's some cute little engines that you can actually put in by maybe either using Petite Angel or even Gale Dogra. So there are a lot of good cards, there's a lot of potential for this deck, and in my opinion, I'm really looking forward to it coming out. I can't wait. I'm just going to be having so much fun with it. It's going to be awesome. And yeah. So overall, I think that the archetype itself isn't enough. You couple it with the existing rituals and engines, I think it actually has a lot of punch and power. It's not done that great over in the OCG, but it hasn't done awful. There have been tops, there have been pretty decent showings at times, but it's one of those decks that have been forgotten about, so maybe people will forget about it over here, not really be bothered by it. Everything's secret rare basically that you do need, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the deck, but I'm definitely going to be pushing it forward. So I want to know what you guys think of the Cyber Angels archetype and also what possible standpoint they may have in the meta. So I want to know what you guys think. As I said, let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure to give me a like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.